With the floating base mounted on a glue block, I flatten the face with 80 grit sandpaper mounted on a flat board. Over at the table saw, I used my wedgie sled to cut the segments required for the vessel, 24 segments per ring. Using an alignment jig and masking tape, it's now time to glue all the segments into a ring. My clamps of choice are just rubber bands.
I'm just sitting here. I got time.
After running the rings through my thickness sander to flatten them, I hot melt glue them to a disc of MDF to aid in centering.
We can sit together. It's so beautiful. You and me. We meant to be in the great outdoors.
I marked the outside edge of the previous ring as a indicator for placing the glue. I used a small brush to apply the glue to the ring.
Sometimes you need to go and take a step back to see the truth around you. From a distance you can tell.
Using the tailstock to hold the ring in place makes it easy to align the two rings to form the bricklay pattern.
Meant to be in the great outdoors. Forever free.
As you can see here, the joints of the ring just placed are aligned with the center of the previous ring.
Meant to be in the great outdoors. Forever free.
Here I've rough turned the outside of the rings before adding a new one. I create my vessels in two pieces, so I build to the largest diameter ring and then stop and build the other half. Here I've started building the top half of the vessel. With the use of an adapter, I've mounted the bottom half of the vessel onto the tailstock. Now it's time to turn the outside of the vessel. Now with the vessel finished turned, I'll sand through the grits starting at 80 and work my way up to 320 at this stage. With the two halves separated again, it's time to finish turn the inside of the vessels. I find my large boring bar works very well for this, as it can reach almost 2 feet over the tool rest without much vibration. As you can see in the background, I'm using a steady rest to dampen the vibration as well. The teardrop cutter on the boring bar can be rotated to a larger diameter to get smoother cuts. With the inside of the top half turned and sanded, it's time to turn our attention to the bottom of the vessel. I'll start by using my bowl gouge, as I find I get better control when I'm trying to match the diameters. Using calipers and a measurement taking from the top half of the vessel, I'll mark the lower to get the wall thicknesses as close as possible. Here I'm using a small bidan to sneak up on the required dimension. Now that I have a flat spot at the required dimension, it's back to the bowl gouge to rough out as deep as I can go. Using large calipers, I test the wall thickness as I go. I'm shooting for about 1/4 of an inch. Now that I've gone as far as I can with the bowl gouge, it's back to the large boring bar to finish the job. With the turning finished, it's time to sand and add a couple of coats of finish. With the finish on both pieces dry, it's time to glue the two halves together. Once the glue is dried, I'll do the final sanding up to 800 grit. Now I'm applying the first of what will be 4 coats of polymerized tung oil. Now it's time to remove the glue block that was attached to the top of the vessel. Here I'm using my thin parting tool made from a hacksaw blade. Now it's time to clean up the inside of the top. Here you have it, the finished vessel. 2,811 individual pieces of reclaimed wood. 23 inches tall, 15 inches in diameter. Thanks for watching.